welcome along to a Sky Sports MMA conversation once again. Thank you for joining us. Very pleased to say we have a man with a kickboxing background. He's boxed a little bit as well, but very well known for his exploits in Bellator. Just a one career defeat to date. It is London's Micheal Venom Page. Michael, welcome along. How are you doing?
I'm very well, thanks. How you doing?
Yeah, very well. How's the lockdown been for you? How's weight? How's training? How's the whole process been in terms of that?
I think for everybody, it's difficult. You having to adjust, especially for us at the beginning, because obviously gyms closed down. Having to just adjust the way we train. It's also the motivation, the self-motivation is very difficult when you're doing things by yourself. You kind of really appreciate how much team means in those moments. Although we had, it's an individual sport in terms of what the people see, us being in the cage, but it really is a team effort to get you there. And as you say, even when because our gym's now an elitist gym, or class as an elitist gym, so anybody that is a professional can actually go in and train now. It's still, we were doing certain slots here and there, and everyone's rotating because there's quite a few of us. We couldn't all be in there at the same time. So even that, I didn't realize how much I'm actually in the gym. So I finish my session, I get home, and you got the whole day to just sitting there, and then you end up just watching shows and eating, and you end up putting on a lot of weight.
Last fight, December. Been a while out of the cage then. How are you feeling? Have you got any kind of ideas of when you might be back, what you're working towards?
Yeah, well, just obviously, as you say, we're all kind of waiting for Bellator to kind of not only just start their shows again, but also talk about when they're going to be able to come to Europe and start their shows. So at the moment, I'm going to struggle to get over to the States. So it's a case, again, of waiting for when they're able to start shows. There's been talks of, I believe there's been talks of an Irish show happening. So, I can't remember exactly when, but I think that may be the first one. And then they're hopefully starting a couple of European shows. And as soon as the doors are open, I want to be the one opening that door and kind of kicking it off. I think everybody's tired away, and there's going to be so many people with their hands up, like pick me, ready to go. But it's like I said, there's been negatives, but there's also been positives. Being able to train and have a bit more freedom of creativity, because when you don't have a specific opponent, you're not working on specific things to match that person. You have a bit more free reign to be, and I'm a creative person, so I love to pull out crazy moves and do crazy stuff. So it allows me, in this time, it has allowed me to be a lot more undisciplined, but it allows my creativity to come. Some of the moves that I'm pulling out now, it's been great. So now I have to just start to refine it and actually be able to match it to, when I actually get an opponent, be able to match it to that person's style. Yeah,
well, it's been a great career today, hasn't it? The one blip on it was Douglas Lima. You've been campaigning for that rematch. He's though scheduled to fight Jagar Mousasi for the vacant middleweight title. That's been postponed, obviously, due to the COVID virus. Paul Daley has talked about an interim title match. Or would that be something interest you, Daley, again?
Not really. If the promotion wants it, then I happily do it. I don't care too much. Again, it was kind of overplayed. I think he sold everybody down the river with regards to that fight. Everyone thought it was going to be a great stand-up match, and he kind of sheeped out of it. And just try to play it tactfully, and still kind of messed up. So, like I said, if the promotion wants it, I'm happy to punch him in the face again. But yeah, my main focus right now is to get the title, and it's specifically because of who has the title, and the fact that would be not only a great title fight to receive the title, but also I get to have a bit of a do-over from the first one.
How would you do it differently?
It's weird because I honestly believe everything was going according to plan, and it was due to my own overexcitement because everything was going according to plan. Even to I rocked him just before I got caught, and even afterwards, he said he was still days after the fight, and he was speaking about it, kind of like, I don't even know where he hit me. He's like, he's actually stated how fast, he's like, he's never come up with anybody as fast as myself, and I think I've gotten faster as well. So for me, it's just being more composed, and weird enough, I usually am, but in that moment, I just genuinely got so excited because literally everything we were training, everything we thought was going to happen was happening. I just need to be a little bit more composed in this rematch. And I think I don't think he believe he can do anything. He can do anything different, but I believe I can definitely do a lot different.
Mention Paul Daley again. He's counting down to his retirement. He said, by the way, if he did get the rematch, there'd be no wrestling or no takedowns, is apparently his guarantee. But he says 3 fights until his retirement. What kind of legacy do you feel he has for British MMA and the sport generally?
Again, it's a weird one with him. I think he was around when there was not many, UK British. Nobody in the UK was doing what he was doing. I think he actually ruined his moment when he had that blip in the UFC, and he's kind of struggled to get back to that type of status again. He's, people within the industry know who he is and respect him, but in terms of getting out to the masses, I think he's struggled, and I think he does. I think I've always said this from the beginning. I feel like he is very jealous of what he's seen from me. So I've come in, I'm the new kid on the block, but I've made such a statement. I've made so much noise, and people were comparing me to him a lot. Two guys in the same division, UK guys from London originally. He was obviously, he's moved to Nottingham, but I think he didn't like the fact that I was getting that comparison so quickly. So there was it brought to light eventually a lot of hate and jealousy that he had of me. His legacy for me, I think his most famous fight is a fight that he's lost, and that's what's unfortunate. And it's because he didn't give himself enough time in the UFC. I respect him in terms of, I respect his talents, his power. He's got crazy power left and right hand. I don't find him very well rounded, but he is strong defending, wrestling takedowns and defending submissions. Yeah, he knows what positions he's supposed to be in, and he's very obvious about what he wants to do. I don't care about doing anything else. I want to stand up and I want to knock you out, and it's great for fans. It's a style that a lot of fans would like, but unfortunately, his legacy is not much. And I do believe that's down to his own undisciplined actions. In terms of his personality being so wild. So I don't believe he's going to have much of a legacy. People will respect him if of the main people within the UK that have done really well. The Michael Bispings, Brad Pickett. There's so many people, Jim Moorhead. There's so many people that have kind of come up and done really well. And he'll be one of those people. But outside of that, I don't think he has much.
Okay, we wish Paul all the best. Talking of standing up and striking, let's talk about Dereck Chisora then, your mate, and the plans. Give us the exclusive. Is this true, the rumours, the murmurs that he might be coming to an MMA cage? For people who don't know, obviously a world contender level boxer, fought for Tali Klitschko for a world title, and he's been a gatekeeper really at world level in boxing, but tempted by Bellator, is he? What's the latest?
Yeah, I think I think a lot of people know his personality, and at the moment he's getting a bit impatient, just with regards to when boxing is going to start back. But I believe they start back next month as well. So I'm sure he'll get redistracted again back into what he does best. And obviously where he is in the boxing world right now, I think it's definitely better for him to just keep focused on the boxing and truly, jump that last few hurdles and actually be known as one of the another one of the great British champions. But yeah, he's around us a lot, and I think he sees what we do, and he loves we train together, we do our fitness together, and we do this, and we always kind of like, the boxers can't get the best scores, they're not better scores than us, and he's like, we talking about, so we always have that kind of banter, and he's jumped in a couple of sessions with us just to try and see, what it's about. But I truly see where his passion is in terms of when he talks about boxing, and when he's training, and the effort that he puts in when he's training. I truly see his passion is still in boxing, and so I don't believe he'll move for now. But he's still, like, he's wily. He's another wily one. We could all be wrong. He could change that. But from what I've seen of him, I think his focus, and should be anyway, his focus is in boxing.
Do you think some of these conversations, we've seen John Jones talking about a bout with Mike Tyson, 53-year-old Mike, do you think some of these conversations elevate both sports in a way? Because you mentioned following and things like that. Are we sort of bringing the worlds together a little bit, boxing fans with MMA fans, and kind of creating sort of new fans in a way?
To be fair, I think for any traditional anybody that's really true to the sport and really proud of the sport individually, whatever sport it is, these conversations are very annoying. But at the same time, business wise, marketing wise, entertainment seems to just mishmash into one. Now we've got YouTubers doing boxing, and then talking about going into MMA as well. We've got wrestlers and MMA guys going into wrestling coming over to MMA, to boxing. Like, it's all one kind of pool now. It was so far apart before, but I think just the way the world works now, as long as you've got a following and you can they can monetize that following, I think everybody seems to be happy for anybody to do whatever they want. So it can be, some of the conversations can be annoying, but it makes sense. I get it. Like I said, I always try to look for it from both points of view. It does elevate both sports, because I think even we can see that from the Mayweather McGregor fight, how massive that fight was. We can definitely see how it can elevate to both sports. I think there's a lot of boxing fans just found out about McGregor and then started to watch some of his fights, and now they know about Khabib, and now they know about Diaz, and they know about all these. Now they're fans of MMA, and they probably wouldn't have been if it wasn't for that fight. So, and again, the same when you have your Logan Pauls and your KSI, all their fans that probably not necessarily were even into it, or maybe heard about one or two people, are now truly actually watching the sport. It's great for the sport, but like I say, if you're a pugilist of any specific sport, then it's not something you care about hearing.
No, we won't talk about how YouTubers doing MMA might look at this point on this conversation. Let's wrap up, I guess, on a positive note, because they won at the weekend. Manchester United, you're a big fan of Manchester United for Sky Sports. Got to ask you about that. Threw in the FA Cup, Europa League, if that happens, still in it. What are your thoughts on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer this season?
Yeah, the team, I think the one of the positives that come out since we've kind of started back is seeing Pogba and Fernandes just working together. I think they can really cause some damage in that middle of the park. But the team is just, we still have so many changes to make. And even today, I heard that they wasn't willing to pay for Jadon Sancho, or a certain amount for Jadon Sancho. And I think it's ridiculous. We need some of these players. We've got the money. We need the players. One of the biggest clubs in the world. We need a step up now. We really. I'm not a massive. I am a fan of the way he's bringing through the youngsters and having them work together and really developing the team. But at the same time, we do need some solid players in. So we've seen the likes of Chelsea make early moves, and I'm kind of sitting here like twitching, like, what are we doing though? It's great to see them playing and playing well, but we really need to start thinking about how we're actually going to improve the team. And unfortunately, there is a lot of deadwood in the team as well that we need to let go of. They're a bit of a waste financially as well, and can then clear up space for us to bring more players in. But yeah, overall, I do like the team. I'm a massive fan of what he has been doing. And I was one of the people that said, you have to keep him. And I'm tired of this, like, new manager every year, or sometimes you don't even get that long. You know, back in the day, it was a case of you had to work with the manager and have him develop the team. I think teams are a bit more driven by players, which is not a good look. You know, because players seem to chop and change. Their mentalities drop and lift like the weather in England. So you don't ever want them driving forward the team. So we need to support a manager and have it regardless, and just give him the time to develop. The same way Ferguson, when he first came in, the first 3 seasons was shaky, and they were talking about getting rid of him. And all of a sudden now he's, you know, known as one of the greatest managers of all time for a reason. You know, they gave him that space to breathe. So we need to give him time.
Yeah, it can be frustrating for Man United fans, especially when Liverpool are winning their first title in 30 years.
I have to say, I just found it. I thought it was going to be really funny if they actually did cancel the league. I would have been laughing my head off. I'm sorry to Liverpool fans, but to be fair, regardless, I always say this: I'm a football fan first, and they have lost over the last couple of years, last 3-4 years. They have been playing really great football, and Klopp is a great manager, man. I have to say, he's someone that has just drawn that team, the element of team together at Liverpool, and it has been great to watch over the years and how he's progressed. And I just hope to see the same at Man United.
Yeah, unbelievable numbers from Liverpool. Great numbers from you so far in your career, Michael. We really appreciate your time as well, and hope to see you back out in the cage soon.
Oh yes, yeah. But thank you for having me. Much appreciated.